Hello my friends, this is Shelley from Koala Knits and Knacks, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful infinity scarf. You know, it's just double crochets. It's a simple stitch pattern, but it makes a beautiful scarf. I am using Caron Colorama, the Ogo donuts, and you're going to need two of these. Now this one is called Tabby. This is the color Tabby. I was in the States a while back and I got these. They were $3.97 and then they were an extra 25% off. So I got such a great deal on them. I cleaned them out. I bought all of them that they had. I'm so sad that they're going out of, you know, that these are not on the shelves anymore apparently. Maybe you can get some on Amazon. I really don't know. Maybe you have some in your closet. And if you do, if you have some in your stash, pull them out and let's make this infinity scarf together. You're going to need 1.5 of these donuts for that. But you know what? If you don't have access to an Ogo and you don't want to use this, use whatever yarn you have in your stash, and you can follow along in this pattern and make it, and it'll be just as beautiful. Make it a solid color, or choose all your little leftover pieces of yarn and change colors as often as you want. Every 2 rows, make one color at least 2 rows, or 4 rows, or 6 rows, because it follows a 2-row pattern. So go ahead and grab your hook of choice, grab your yarn of choice, and we're going to get started on this beautiful scarf. But it's just, I just absolutely can't say enough about it. I love it. I made this pattern with Caron cakes several years ago, and I made it a bunch of them for gifts for my friends. And with Caron cakes, it makes a beautiful scarf as well. It's it would be a 4-weight. This is 5-weight. But go ahead, choose your favorite yarn that you like, and let's make this together. Isn't it just gorgeous? This is a standard size. In the video, I give you measurements for a cowl, for a shorter one, for this standard one, and for a long one. And so you can choose whatever size you would like to make, but I just love it. And you know what? If it's a windy day and you just want to pull it up, this particular one, the width that I've made it, like, look at that. It's beautiful. I absolutely love it, and I hope you do too. So grab your yarn. For me, again, I used the Ogo Colorama. It's a 5-weight yarn, and I used my J hook, 5.75 millimeter hook. So I'm also gonna, just before we get going, I'm going to show you that I decided, you know what, this scarf is so beautiful, I'm gonna see if I can figure out a hat pattern for it, a beanie pattern. So I went ahead and I made this beautiful beanie. And I used the rest of the second ball, plus I had to steal a tiny little bit from another ball for the brown. But if you only have 2 balls, you can go ahead and make this beautiful beanie and just pull a second color or a little bit X color from your stash to make it up, and don't go out and buy a 3rd one just to finish it off. You will have a color of some sort in your drawers that will match, and you can finish it off that way. So for both of these, 2 Ogos. 2 Ogos, that's it. So join me on this infinity scarf pattern and see me in the next video, and I'll show you how I make the matching beanie, and you'll have a beautiful set. So thanks again for joining me, my friends. Get your supplies and let's get started. We are going to take one of our Ogos. Oh, they're just so pretty. I love these. I'm so sad they're discontinued, but I bought quite a few of them at this wonderful price, and then I got another, what was it, 25% off, I think. So I really got a good deal on them, I think, and I'm loving them. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, you're going to need 2 of these for the project, but we're going to just rip off this cover, just like this. There's no easy way to do it. You just you just rip at it. Okay, then you're going to pull apart the bottom like this, and you're going to cut that little plastic piece that's there. Then you're going to grab it and you're going to pull it out. Okay, and that separates our little Ogo. You can leave it in there, but I think it's easier to work with if you pull it out. Okay, and then what we're going to do is you can unravel all of these and cut them at their change where it changes colors, or you can just use them. See, that one goes in there. You can just use them right from the end here, which is what I do, and just let it flow naturally. I generally am one who, when I'm making something like a scarf or a blanket, I do not like my colors to change in the middle of the row. I just don't like it. But with this yarn, I'm letting it happen, and it's beautiful. It really has turned out beautiful. So I'm just letting it happen. You're going to take your, whatever hook you like for this size, your container will tell you, the cover of this will tell you to use a 6.5 millimeter crochet hook. I am using a 5.75. It's the size I like for this. So you can use this size or bigger, whatever you like, doesn't really matter. Then I'm going to make a slip knot. Okay, so I'm going to just fold that over like that, put my hook in there, grab that end and bring it through. And that's how I make my slip knot, okay? And we are going to chain up 30. I'm going to just pull some of the slack from there. We're going to chain up 30. 1, 2, 3. So I'm yarning over and pulling through the loop on my hook. 4, yarn over, pull through the loop on my hook. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. After every 2 or 3 stitches or so, I move my thumb and my finger up. Now, how many was that? Is that 16? Yep. And then 17, 18, 19, 20. And you'll notice I'm going a little bit loose. 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. On my foundation row of any project that I do, I try to keep it a little bit looser, just so that I don't have the last row pulling on the tension, so that, you know, it just sets, this sets the tone for the rest of the scarf and the rest of the project if it was a blanket. And I just always make it a little bit looser. Okay, so now what we're going to do is you're going to go into the 3rd stitch from your hook. So you're not going to count this one. You're going to count 1, 2, 3. You're going to do a double crochet. So you're going to yarn over, insert it into that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, make it the same height just like that, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. That's your first double crochet. We're going to always count our chain. So now this chain 3 here starts as our first double crochet. Okay, so now we count 1, 2, and we go into that next space. We do a double crochet, yarn over, go into that chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, and go through 3. Or pardon me, 2. So now we have 3 double crochets. We're going to yarn over, go into that next chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, just pull up a little bit so that these are all the same height, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, and go through 2. We're going to do that all the way down our foundation row. And then when we get to the end, we'll have 29 double crochets. Okay, so I'll do a couple more with you. Yarn over into that next foundation chain, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Let's do that again. Yarn over, into the chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, and go through 2. You continue doing that same process all the way down your chain until you get to the end, and I'll see you back. All right, so I made it across. I have 29 double crochets, counting this chain, turning chain there. Now we're going to measure this, and I'm going to show you. This is 9 3/4 width. Perfect. I love that width, but if you want it shorter or you want it longer, you just make your foundation row accordingly. So if you wanted to cut it off and make it a little bit thinner, you could do that. If you wanted to make it longer, make a really wide scarf, you could do that as well. So you just go ahead and customize that to whatever size that you like. Okay, but for this particular one, we went ahead and did 30. Now we've got 29 double crochets. We're going to put our hook back into our yarn. We're going to chain 2. And we're going to turn our work like a book. Okay, that chain 2 will always count as a double crochet. And because that counts as a double crochet, that means that this one right here, we're not going to go into. This first hole, this first stitch, we're not going to go into. We're going to go into this very next one. We're going to do a double crochet. We always have 2 double crochets at the start and the finish of every row. Okay, so now we can begin our second row of the pattern. Okay, so I've got my turning chain here, which counts as 1 double crochet. I've put a double crochet into that next one. Then I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to loosen my ball here because I can feel that I'm getting some tension. Okay, I'm going to chain one, then I'm going to miss this next double crochet right here, and I'm going to go into this one, and I'm going to do a double crochet into that one and a chain one. Okay, this yarn is sticking to my hands because I'm so hot. Okay, then I'm going to miss this next one and go into that next one, double crochet and chain one. We're going to do that all the way down the row. Yarn over, miss one, go into the next one, double crochet, chain one. And that's where we're getting our little square pattern. See that? Okay, this is going to straighten out. It looks like it's curving there a bit, but it's going to straighten out as we go up, okay, because we're going to put a double crochet into that third chain there, and that'll pull that up a little bit. So don't worry about that. We're just going to continue along in this pattern. You're going to skip one, then you're going to double crochet and chain one in that next stitch, skip one, double crochet, chain one, skip one, so on and so forth. Okay, so I've chained one there. I'm going to skip one, I'm going to double crochet, chain one, skip one, double crochet, oops, chain one, skip one, double crochet, chain one, skip one, all the way to the end. Go ahead and finish that off, and I'll see you back when you get there. All right, so I'm at the end. I've got two visible stitches left, this one here and this one there. So I've done my chain one, going to yarn over. I'm going to go into that last stitch right there. Then I'm not going to chain one. Remember, I told you we have two double crochets at the end and the beginning of each row. I'm not going to chain one there. I'm just going to yarn over, go into that top of that chain, and I'm going to do a double crochet. Just like that, okay? And that's how I finish off my end. So you'll see that I have two double crochets in a row there, and I have two double crochets in a row here, okay? So now we've got our boxes done. We're going to chain up two. We're going to turn our work. Now here's where you have an option. Well, not quite yet. We're going to get our two double crochets first. So remember, we're going to count this as the first one. So then that space right there lines up with this one. So we're not going to go into there. We're going to go into that next one. We're going to double crochet into that space. Now we've got our two double crochets, and you see how that already started to straighten that out. And it will be perfectly straight as you go up, okay? But now what we're going to do is we're going to double crochet all across this row. So you can yarn over, go into your top of your stitch like that and do a double crochet. That's one way to do it. Or you can do what I do. Because I think it looks just as nice, but it's a little bit easier. You'll get through your project quicker, but I think it looks just as nice. I'm going to yarn over, I'm going to go into that box, right into that space. Pull up a loop, yarn over, and complete my double crochet. Then into the top of that one, I'm going to do a double crochet. Okay. And then into the box, double crochet. Into the top of that stitch, double crochet, into the box. And I'm going to do this all the way across. Okay, just like that. So we started out with our two double crochets. The one was the turning chain, but that counts. This is the second one. Then into that box, then into the stitch, into the box, into the stitch, into the box, into the stitch, box, stitch, all the way down. And we should have 29 double crochets when we get to the end. So I'm going to continue down the row and I'll meet you back. That's what it's looking like. Okay, so I've got this one bar here to go into that stitch. We're going to do that one into the top of that stitch, and I'm not going to go into that box there. I'm going to go straight into the top of that chain two. Okay, so yarn over, go into the top of that chain two, yarn over, pull up a loop, finish off your double crochet. That's given me two double crochets at the end of my work again, right there. Okay, so you should be able to count these now, counting this first chain here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 27, 28, and 29. Every time you do this row, you will have 29 double crochets, and that will set you up for your next row. And then we're going to just keep repeating the 2. So again, let's do one more row. We're going to chain 2, turn our work. That counts as our first double crochet. And again, because that counts, we do not need to go into this first little loop that's right there. We're going to go into the next one, do our second double crochet, and now we begin our pattern. So chain 1, skip that next double crochet and go into the next one, do a double crochet and chain 1, skip the next one, go into the next one and do a double crochet and chain 1, and repeat that pattern all the way down. You see how fast this works up, you guys? It's truly one of my favorite infinity scarf crochet patterns because it's not only beautiful, but it works up quickly, and it's only a 2-row repeat. So it's just perfect for even beginners. So you're going to, I did my double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, all the way down to the end of your row. And again, when you get to this last, when you do your double crochet here, you're not going to chain 1. You're going to just do 1 more double crochet into the top of your chain 2 there. So you have 2 double crochets together with no chain 1 in between. Then you're going to do your chain 2 and turn your work again. And then you're going to repeat your next row. Okay, your first row. So this is the first row. This is the second. First, second. You're going to repeat that and repeat that and repeat that until you get the length that you want. For me, the scarf is going to be 55 inches long. A standard infinity scarf is between 50 and 60 rows. If you want to make this a cowl, so just a shorter one, it's 30. You would want to make it 30 to 35 inches in height. A short one would be 40 to 45 inches. Again, the standard, the regular size infinity scarf is between 50 and 60 inches. And if you want a long infinity scarf, you're going to make it between 65 and 75 inches tall. So I'm going to keep going till mine is between 50 and 60. So I'm just going to go till 55 inches. And I'll see you back in just a little while. I'm going to just keep adding some rows to this. And when I get a fair length, I'll come back on and show you what it looks like. Okay? All right, so I just finished my first ball of yarn, and you'll see at the beginning we had just the one and a part row of this color before it changed. So I'm going to make sure that when I get to the end, my very last color, I'm going to pull from my second ball, and I'm going to make sure that I have enough of this one to add to the end of my scarf, so I have at least 5 or 6 more rows of this color. So then when I join my scarf, I have the same amount of rows on this color as I do on the others, because the others are pretty uniform. So do you see what I mean? This one started out small, but the end of this ball is actually this color, and I've taken that apart and I have reserved it. Where is it? Oh, it must be upstairs. But this ball ended with this color, and so I have set it aside so that I can continue on and save that for the very last. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new ball, which also is starting in that color. So I'm going to have 2 panels of this color, which is excellent. It's just keeping it uniform, okay? And so I'm going to, I'll show you this first. So this is what it's looking like. Just absolute gorgeous colors. That's what I love about these kinds of things, where they have balls that have different colors in them, because they are coordinating the colors for you. Now, again, I generally do not like this jog, but in an infinity scarf, it works because it's twisted on your neck and you don't notice the jog. If it was a blanket and it's laying flat, you notice it, and I would for sure make sure that this ended at an end. And then that's just for my preference. I don't like to see a color jog on a blanket, so for the color to end abruptly like that. But on an infinity scarf, it works out beautifully. So I'm going to go ahead, and this one ball of yarn, minus a little bit of that one color that I saved for the end, measures 35 inches, okay? So I'm going to grab my next ball, okay? And I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to go into that space there. I'm going to take my other color, hold it at the back with my finger there. I'm going to yarn over and bring it through. Now I have 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to finish that double crochet, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over and go through 2. Okay, then I'm going to yarn over, go into the top of that double crochet there. Yarn over, go into that next space. Yarn over into the top of that double crochet. And you got it. We're going to yarn over and go into the top of that chain 2 and finish off a double crochet. Then we're going to chain 2 and we're going to turn our work and we're going to begin the next row, which was our squares. Before I do that, I'm going to take these 2 little ends. I'm going to tie a nice little knot. I hide my ends as I go. I am not one who likes to wait till the end of a project and hide, you know, a whole pile of different ends if I have them. This project, you don't have a lot of ends because you just keep following the yarn as it comes out of the ball. And I haven't cut the colors, so it just is falling into place at its own pace. So not a lot of yarn ends until I change the balls, okay? We needed to add another skein, and that's why I'm doing this, okay? So I'm going to now take this next one. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just hide it underneath that row of stitches, just like that. Pull that knot to hide it, and then go back. Just like that. Cut it off. I'm good to go, okay? So I've done my chain 2, turning my work. I need another double crochet for my set of 2 at the beginning, so I'm going to miss this. Oops, let's get my hook the right way. I'm going to miss that first base stitch, go into the next one, do my double crochet, chain 1, miss 1, double crochet, chain 1, miss 1, all the way to the end. And I'm going to keep repeating this pattern until I get 55, between 50 and 60 inches is what I want for mine. And I'm going to keep repeating this pattern until I get that. And that won't be quite 2 balls because I got 35 inches out of the first ogo. And so I'm anticipating that there'll be 35 or so rows in the second ogo, but I don't want 70 rows. So I only want 55. So I will work that out so that I get 55 I said 55 rows. I meant 55 inches. Sorry, 55 inches. And then I will see you back, okay? So you just keep going, my friends. This is absolutely gorgeous yarn. I'm just absolutely loving it. And the feel of this ogo yarn is just so beautiful. So have fun, keep going, and I'll see you when you get to the end, okay? All right, friends, we have gone and done it. It's been such a while since I have made this pattern that it was just so nice to bring it out of the archives and do it again. I just... and with this yarn, like, I am just loving it. But you'll see that this is what I meant by the ends, okay? So I started here with this color, and at the beginning of the ball, it only had that little bit. And then at the end of the ball, it had the rest. So I saved this piece from the end of the first ball that I used, ball or donut that I used, so that I could put it at the end, so that when I joined this together, I'd have a bigger section of that color, okay? It's a little bit different. I'm just noticing that now. It's just a smidgen different, but it's still close enough. And so I saved it so that I would have a bit of a panel. But I could have made it a little bit longer even, but my scarf was already at 61 inches. I wanted it to be in the neighborhood of 55 inches. Standard is 50 to 60, and this is now 61, so I just quit there, okay? So what I'm going to do, you have an option. You can give it one twist and then sew it. Most, a lot of infinity scarves, that's what they do. And then it sits a little bit better on like, it just gives it a nice look when you're wrapping it, or you can just leave it flat like this because you're going to wrap it anyway, so it's going to form its own little circle. So you can, or its own little twist. So you can decide what you want to do. I've done it both ways. For this one, I'm going to do the twist. I'm going to just put one twist in there. Okay, then we're going to take our yarn. We're going to put a slip knot on our hook. We're going to get rid of this glare that is in our camera. Let me just see if I can fix that while I have you on. Okay, I'm just going to dim that one light that I have here. Maybe that helps a little bit. Okay, and we are going to sew this together. All right, there, I think I figured out the lighting a little bit better. Okay, so we're going to put our two pieces together. We're going to, and you'll notice too that I ended on the row that had the squares because this other row was the straight, okay? So then the pattern matches, so that's important to take note of as well, okay? So we're going to put our hook under that first stitch and then on the other side here as well, okay? Then we're going to yarn over and bring it through both pieces and through the loop that's on your hook. And that is a slip stitch to join. And we're going to slip stitch down this whole piece, okay? So we're going to go into that next stitch. So when you look at these squares here, we're going to go into the top of that stitch. And then we're going to go into the first stitch on the other side. We're going to yarn over, bring it through, and bring it through. And we're going to slip stitch to join. And we're not going to make it tight. We're going to have it fairly loose, okay? Then you'll see that the next part is this little square that we always went into to when we did our next row. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to just go underneath there and then into that next stitch, yarn over, bring it through, slip stitch to join. Let me see, is that enough light? Okay. Sorry, sometimes this time of the day, the lighting is very hard to do. So then in this one, I'm going to put it into that actual stitch, then go across the row into that other side and slip stitch underneath the little loop of the square into the other side, slip stitch to join, making sure that it is not pulling tight, okay? We just want it to be a nice smooth finish at the top, okay? But again, into this actual double crochet and slip stitch to join, underneath, across, slip stitch to join. I'm going to do that all the way across, just like this, okay? Making sure that it's nice and loose. I don't even have to pick it up because you can feel it. Once you get going, you can feel where those stitches are, okay? So finish that all the way to the end, and then I'll see you back, okay? All right, I made it to the end, so I'm going to go into that chain and into the chain on the other side. I'm going to yarn over, bring it through both. Then I'm going to yarn over, pull it through that loop, tighten it, and then I'm going to hide it. And there we go. We have a bit of a little ridge there, but that's okay. This we will know. We'll go to the back of our neck, but let's look at the other side. It's beautiful, okay? So there you have it, my friends. I'm going to hide that yarn end, and I'm going to put this on, and I'm going to show you what it looks like, but I am just so pleased with it. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, and I hope you do too. All right, so here it is on the mannequin. I didn't put it on myself because you saw it on me at the beginning of the video. So here it is, paired with the beanie that I made to match, and you can find that video on my channel as well. So please look that up and make yourself a set. So thanks again, my friends, for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that you love this pattern just as much as I do, and that you
have fun making it. Okay, take care, my friends. Please be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I'll see you in the next video.